Good evening, everyone, and welcome to New York Metro Weather's forecast discussion for January 19th, 2012. Actually, the forecast discussion goes through the 21st, but we are recording it on the 19th around 8 p.m. So we'd like to welcome you guys in. We have a lot of stuff going on, a lot to cover. We'll try to keep it as short and to the point as possible, but there's a lot of stuff going on. So, over the past few days, you've probably heard us talk about the Clipper system and then the system following that. So here's the Clipper system, which we're talking about. You can see it on the radar, which is updating, self-updating. So this is the latest image as of 8:25, or about 7 minutes ago. So you can see that the precipitation having a little bit of a hard time getting over the mountains of northeast and eastern Pennsylvania. But we do have some light snow in Connecticut, specifically southeast New York, and trying to make its way towards New York City in that band. We'll zoom in a little bit here and take a look, and you can see the band having a little trouble getting to the south, but trying to work to the east over White Plains, Bedford, Bridgeford, Danbury, all those areas. We're not expecting much with this Clipper system. There's not much moisture, so a lot of this stuff is having trouble reaching the ground as well. But we are keeping light snow in the forecast throughout the area, with very little accumulations expected. Nothing in the city or on the coast or over central or southern New Jersey, but there is a potential for maybe a coating to a half an inch of snow over interior New Jersey, northern New Jersey, and southeast New York and Connecticut. Beyond this, things get very interesting, and as we have detailed over the last day or two on the website and on our social networking outlets, there's been a lot of, I guess you can say, inconsistencies within the forecast models in regards to what's going to be transpiring. And the few things that play major roles in the forecast on Saturday. First thing that we're going to look at here on the top left is the 500 millibar heights and vorticity. So these are the disturbances we talk about in the middle of the atmosphere. You can see one here to the north over southeast Canada. Here's New Jersey and the east coast of the United States. And this one, embedded in the flow, trailing back here towards the central United States, is the one producing our storm system. The top right, you can see the surface highs and lows. Here's our low pressure, which is driving on the NAM into the mid-Atlantic. You can see when you have a system that does this, it's called the southwest flow event, because the system's coming from the southwest, and the southwest flow in the atmosphere allows warm air to work into the middle of the atmosphere while the surface can stay cold, which is what we spoke about earlier. And you can see here the NAM sounding for New York City just a few hours after that image. And we talked about this. If you want to get a better, we kind of went over the basics of forecast soundings, the vertical profiles of the atmosphere, in our last video. So you can go check out our last video from yesterday. But you can see around 850 millibars, a warm layer here, which could mean sleet in the New York City area around 45 hours from the 18th NAM. So this would be in the afternoon on Saturday. But what the point really is here is that the NAM is trying to bring a changeover in, while if we compare it to the GFS, you can see, we'll start here with looking at the top right graphic of surface pressures. Here's the NAM, and here's GFS. So obviously we have some major differences. The GFS is farther to the south and east. What are the reasons for that? We're going to take a look here on the top left now. We're looking. We talked about this high pressure, the short wave to the north, this confluent shortwave to the north over southeast Canada. Look how where the NAM has it, and then here's the GFS. You can see the differences. The GFS is farther south than the NAM, more suppressive, and as a result, the surface low here on the top right is nudged down to the south and east, and the cold air is taking over at the surface and the mid-levels earlier than the NAM. The NAM is also stronger with this shortwave itself, the one that produces the storm system. So it allows the storm to drive further to the north, and that confluent shortwave to the north has a little bit less of an impact on the system. The NAM is an outlier model as of now on the warm side, so it's important to consider because the GFS and the other models are producing a moderate snowstorm for the area. Here's the NAM. We're going to go through it. Remember, it is the warmer of all the models that we have. Here comes our snow into the area, starting early Saturday as snow, and if the NAM is correct, it warms up to change over to sleet. We'll take a look here at the precipitation type graphics. We're kind of a little bit of a mess here with our tabs. We're trying to click through it. So here's the snow we're talking about. Now watch as the mid-levels warm, you can see the area of sleet moves farther to the north, and precipitation changes over parts of New Jersey and New York City here Saturday afternoon to a sleet and wintry mix before it ends and moves off to the east. But the other models being colder, and almost all of them, including the GFS, the Euro, and the Canadian, means that the NAM might be on the warm side of guidance. Interesting also, even with the NAM being warm, here's its snowfall forecast. We'll look here as a top scale. It's kind of hard to read, but here's the 1-inch line, the light blue. The 2-inch line is the second shade of blue, and the 4-inch line is this darker shade of blue. So the NAM is indicating 2 to 4 inch snowfall for much of New York City, and a 4 to 6 inch snowfall for New Jersey, with the possibility of lollipops of 6 inches in the higher elevations and over portions of Connecticut. And that's being one of the warmer models is pretty interesting. So you can we're trying to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here as forecasters with this storm system. It's been a little bit of a headache, but we're starting to get a little bit of a better idea on it. This is the SREF mean, the short range ensemble forecast. Ensemble forecasting, instead of taking one model, it tries to compensate for what errors one model could have. So the SREF has some odd number of, I guess you can call them satellite members. So you have 15 or 16 SREFs. And the mean is combined to give us these graphics and try to improve the accuracy. So if one model has an error, it'll be smoothed out in the mean. These are the probabilities of 1, 4, 8, and 12-inch snowfall. We're obviously not looking at these bottom maps, but here you are. The SREF has around 90% probability, 95% probability of an inch over northern New Jersey. As you get towards the coast and the city, it's picking up on some of the models being a little bit warmer. I guess some of the SREF models being a little bit warmer, and you can see the probabilities drop off to about 70% over New York City, which is still fairly high. So going with a 70% chance of 1 inch on the SREF mean is pretty high for this range, still being 48 hours out. There are some small probabilities for 4 inches showing up over New Jersey as well. This matches up pretty well with all the guidance, including the NAM. So with all of this said, we released our snowfall probability tables earlier today with our percent chance of 1, 4, 6, and 8 inches. We didn't feel the need to go higher than that. Pretty much 6 and 8 inches is the ceiling for this storm system. The 1 inch chances highest over areas away from the coast, Newark being the exception. Sussex, New Jersey, White Plains, Morristown, Plainfield, Danbury, and Middletown were our locations that we went with high. Sussex and White Plains, and Middletown as well, over 90% chance of 1 inch, pretty much a guarantee. The lower areas, New York, JFK, LaGuardia, Bridgeport, and Islip, all roughly similar, but Princeton, New Jersey, and Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Princeton, farther to the south, getting towards the battleground there between sleet, if the warmer models verify. If we do see things start to trend a little colder, this will definitely probably go up to 70% as well. Point Pleasant being right near the coast, slightly warmer surface temperatures, and in southeast flow off the water could make things a little bit more difficult to get accumulating snow. The same is true for New York City, but Point Pleasant being right on the beach, obviously being a beach itself doesn't help. The 4 inch probability chances, we weren't too confident to go with moderate in any of the city locations. We were confident enough to go with a 50% chance of 4 inches over Sussex and Middletown, the interior locations where there won't be any mixing, and it looks like we'll have ample precipitation. And Danbury, Connecticut, just around 50%, a little bit below that. As almost all of the models indicate a 3 to 6 inch snowfall for them. No probability of 6 to 8 inches. But I suppose there is the possibility that if things do continue to trend colder, we could see these introduced specifically for Sussex and Middletown and White Plains and those areas. Here is the storm total snowfall forecast map, which we issued this afternoon as well. Basically echoes what we were just talking about. The shore, a harder time to accumulate. It's not to say that there won't be an inch of snow near the shore. There very well might be. But what we're trying to signify here is that it's going to be harder to accumulate along the immediate shore. The models have southeast winds howling in along the shore. We'll take a look at the NAM actually. We'll jump back here at 45 hours. You can look at the wind direction down here on the bottom left. They're howling out of the southeast. and temperatures are in the 40s. So it'll be pretty hard if these warmer solutions verify to get accumulation near the coast at all. So we went the safe way and kind of split the difference between the warmer and colder models. 1 to 2 inches with a possibility of 3 inches in isolated spots here in this zone, and then a 2 to 5 inch snowfall, generally a possibility over northwestern interior New Jersey, southeast New York, and Connecticut, away from the coast of Connecticut being specific. So again, we have discrepancies between the two models. You can see them here. We're only 42 hours out, and these are pretty significant differences. So we're working very hard behind the scenes to try and iron things out for you guys. And as we get more data through tonight and into Friday morning, we'll nail this thing down and give you guys our final map and all the information. Thanks for sticking along. Thanks for watching, and we hope you guys enjoy the forecast. Stay with us on Facebook and Twitter, and keep reading the website, and we'll keep you guys as informed as we can and relay any information that we get to you guys as soon as we get it. We'll talk to you guys soon.